Welcome to Lucipara 2, my home for the last 17 years. When I moved from an apartment to the boat, I got rid of a lot of stuff, but I got more freedom in return. And that's not just because Floris and I can sail around the world on my boat. By adopting a more minimalist lifestyle, I became debt-free. And guess what? You don't have to be a sailor to reap the benefits of downsizing.
In New Zealand, living in a tiny home is popular. There is a tiny home association, a website with tips about living in, financing and moving into a tiny house, and a YouTube channel with millions of subscribers dedicated to the many forms of living in a tiny house. There are even expos with tiny houses, like the one we visit in Motueka. Companies specialized in equipping tiny houses show potential buyers different designs and how to have a comfortable life in a tiny house with wood stoves, solar panels and compost toilets.
Tiny.
To make the transition to a tiny house even easier, some companies specialize in building custom-made tiny houses. We visit one in the small town of Katikati, Tiny House Builders, and meet co-founder Peter Bartlett. He explains that they build high-quality, beautiful homes that are also functional. Their designs stay within the maximum legal size for homes on trailers of 8 meters long by 3 meters wide and 4 meters high. Yet they get so much space out of them. Check out all the smart storage solutions.
One does the same, and the next one uplifts. To your right, go to your left.
Yeah.
Use your left thumb.
Yeah.
And that triangle step up the top, very top, that also lifts up. Yeah. And this will open up for storage. As does that one, and then of course some people, they want drawers.
Yeah.
Some people have a pull-out.
His clients range from singles and couples to entire families. Some of their designs can house up to 6 people. They want to escape the heated property market or look for a simpler lifestyle. Yet ready-made tiny houses are not everyone's cup of tea.
Today we're visiting Eva, who built her own tiny house completely from recycled materials.
We ask her how it was to build her own tiny house.
Yeah, it was, I told my boss it would take me 3 months, and it took 3 years. It was incredibly challenging and really, really hard, having never held a hammer before. And using recycled materials was incredibly challenging, but also really rewarding, because at the end of it I could say all of this is like repurposed or recycled. I didn't just go down to the hardware store and buy stuff. So very, very rewarding, but yeah, really, really hard as well. Yeah.
But what do you think are the big benefits from living in the tiny house compared to an alternatively bigger one?
I think living in a tiny house simplifies your life in so many ways. It simplifies it physically because you don't have the space to fill with stuff. Like whatever space you choose, you will fill it. And if you choose a small space like this, you will fill it, but you'll fill it so much faster than a big house. I spend my time sort of being really present in how I live. I went to visit lots of different tiny houses, and wrote notes about what I liked about theirs, and then tried to sort of combine them all into this. And so the stairs are stairs, but they're also storage, which is fantastic. Like, it's just like having a wardrobe.
It's very well thought through and very compact, but yet you have a fridge, you have a gas stove,
Yeah.
you have everything.
I honestly feel like we have everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, really do. I'd love a bath. I really, really like a bath, but I
But
think...
you have a shower.
Yeah, we have
Where
a
do you
shower.
first have?
Yeah, so this is the bathroom here.
Okay.
If you can fit in there. Yeah, so I'll actually just let you guys go in there because you definitely can't fit more than one person. So on the right is the toilet.
Yeah.
So it's a composting toilet, but
Yeah.
it's actually just a bucket in a box. And I love it. I love the way that works. Like, it's so easy. You just take it out and we put it in a compost roller.
Yeah.
And if you roll it every day, it breaks down so fast, and then you just couldn't even tell that it had come out of a toilet. I just think it's great. And some people spend $2,500 on a composting toilet. That's a bucket. That's like $5 from the hardware store. And then on the other side is the shower. And so in winter, the water is heated off the fire, which we also cook on. And in summer, we just don't have hot water because we don't need it. Like, it's warm enough that you can have a cold shower and it not be a horrible experience.
Why did you use recycled materials?
Honestly, secondhand and repurposing is just my life. Like, that is who I am. It's who I've always been. My parents were bargain hunters, and we would go garage sailing into the local recycle centre where I now work, and I think there's so much to be gained from repurposing things and being creative with what somebody else deems to be worthless to them. So yeah, I get a real buzz out of it.
And it saves money too.
Oh, it saves so much money.
Yeah.
So much money. Like, this house cost me $25,000, which half of that was for the trailer, and most of it, or a lot of it, was buying cake and beer to say thanks to people for giving me materials. So probably about $8,000 for the structure, which I think is crazy, crazy cheap. I guess the whole time is money thing. I had more time than money, and more like drive to use my time than drive to use my money. So I spent less, and I just spent a lot of time sourcing things and creating things and sanding and straightening things, and I think that I've gotten so much more out of it because I've had to learn more in the process in order to use those materials. Yeah.
And do you have a mortgage?
No. I had a bit of money in savings, and when I finished, I still had money in savings. The house just is such an asset to me now. It's such an asset, and the money that I've saved, I could actually now get a mortgage on a piece of land rather than a house. Yeah, can buy a piece of bare land and then just tow this tiny house onto it and just start living on there straight away. Yeah. Not having a mortgage means that I think it means that you can live a far simpler life. You're not sort of tied to this constant debt that you have to maintain. And so at the moment, I only work between 1 and 3 days a week because I don't have to pay these large sums of money. And in that time, instead of working, I create things and be artistic and help people. And I think, like, I don't want to sound like a cliche, but I just feel like I live a more wholesome life because I'm not kind of like 9 to 5 every day, turning up at work in order to make money, which I then have to spend on this and this. And yeah, I think without a mortgage, you maybe just less money centric. Yeah.
Living in a tiny house saves energy and resources, even more so if you build it with recycled materials. On top of that, you declutter and adopt a more minimalist lifestyle. As a result, you save money, increase your freedom, and leave a smaller ecological footprint. What's not to like?
Did you like this video?
And want to see more? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on social media, become our patron on Patreon, or subscribe to our email newsletter on our website.